Hello, radiant Leo soul. Let me ask you something bold and deeply personal. What if I told you the jackpot is already yours? Not tomorrow. Not someday. But now. This video was created for one divine purpose. To confirm what your spirit has already begun to sense. The universe is delivering unexpected wealth, deep love, and life-shifting miracles to you starting this very moment, August 6th. And you, dear Leo, are not watching this by accident. You are here because destiny summoned you. You clicked on this message because something in your soul remembered. Remembered that you are the chosen one. And what's coming isn't luck, it's long overdue alignment. In the celestial flow of time, August 6 stands as a powerful turning point. The sun, your ruling planet, is at its peak. Your energy is magnetic. Your presence is divine. And the doors you once thought were locked are now swinging wide open. You are not here to chase. You are here to receive. So take a breath with me. A deep, intentional breath into your heart. Because this isn't just another horoscope. This is a spiritual transmission. An activation. A remembrance. A call to receive what has always belonged to you. The jackpot has your name on it, and it's not just about money. It's about every breakthrough, blessing, and rebirth your soul has been waiting for. But before we go further, let me take a sacred moment to thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for watching, for supporting this journey, and for simply showing up as you are. Every like you give, every comment you write, every share you send. It doesn't just support eternal mindfulness. It deepens your connection to this global soul family. And trust me, beloved Leo, you will want to stay with me through every second of this message. Because what the cosmos is revealing today is nothing short of breathtaking. So tell me, my fierce and faithful Leos, what have you done, aligned with, or silently prayed for that brought you here today? The truth is, there is no coincidence in spiritual timing. There is only divine orchestration. And if your heart feels a subtle pull, a soft spark, or even a roaring fire while listening, that's not just emotion. That's recognition. This is the moment you remember. You are not here to struggle. You are here to rise. To reclaim your power. To receive what is rightfully yours. To stand tall in the knowledge that the jackpot is already on its way to you. Not because you begged for it, but because you have become the person who can finally hold it. So let this be your soul's confirmation. Your sacred yes. And if this message speaks to something deep and ancient within you, if your heart is whispering, "This is for me," then leave a comment below and affirm your connection. Type it out as a declaration. I'm ready. I receive. I accept my divine reward. Let your energy echo into the universe. And you'll be amazed how quickly the universe responds. This is just the beginning, Leo. Stay with me. Because in the next part of this message, we'll uncover exactly why the wait is over. And how your entire life is about to be rewritten in gold. Let's begin. You've already felt it, haven't you, Leo? That quiet shift in the air. That sense that something is no longer the same. It's subtle at first, like the hush that falls before the sunrise. But then it builds, and you realize it wasn't subtle at all. It was the voice of your soul, finally being heard. What's unfolding in your life right now is not random. It's not chaos. It's the harvest of every unseen seed you've ever sown. Every moment you cried and no one saw, every time you gave when you had nothing left, every silent act of resilience, it was all preparing the soil for this. Your life hasn't been a series of missteps. It's been a sacred spiral drawing you inward, then outward, like breath. Every delay was protection. Every detour was instruction. And now, as the sun moves through your sign, your very essence sight doesn't just illuminate you. It activates you. This is your solar return, not only by date, but by energy. A cosmic reminder that your light was never lost. It was simply gathering strength for the moment you'd be ready to shine without fear. There's something almost poetic in how timing works. We tend to search for answers in the world around us. We chase signs, people, status, hoping they'll fill a void we barely understand. But eventually, we return to ourselves. And that moment, that return, is more profound than any external success. What if everything you thought was broken was actually breaking open? What if the waiting wasn't punishment but preparation? You see, the greatest gifts are never rushed. The lotus doesn't bloom at the snap of a finger. It rises slowly, gently, from the mud. Just like you did. As someone who's walked beside countless souls through transformation, I've come to see a pattern. The universe rarely delivers breakthroughs to those who demand them. It delivers them to those who are finally able to hold them. That's what this moment is about. Readiness. Ripeness. You no longer have to strive for alignment. You are alignment. And that's what makes you magnetic now, not the effort, but the embodiment. Astrologically, when the sun returns to its rulership in Leo, it's like a king stepping back onto the throne, not to conquer, but to remember. This period isn't about starting over. It's about seeing clearly that you were always on the path. You never left it. Even your mistakes carried sacred instructions. Even your heartbreak carved room for greater love. This is why I often encourage a gentle ritual of reflection. Take a moment to write a letter to the version of yourself from 1 year ago, 5 years ago, maybe even further. Thank them. Not just for surviving, but for enduring with grace, even when they didn't feel graceful. They got you here. They gave you the roots that now support your blooming. And if you feel emotional during that process, that's okay. You're not being fragile, you're being true. We're not meant to push away the past as if it were shameful. We're meant to bow to it, the way a tree bows in the wind, not in weakness, but in wisdom. There's a teaching, passed down quietly, that says the moment you stop seeking is the moment you find what was waiting inside you all along. It was never about the chase. It was always about the space. And now, that space is full with everything you need to step into what's next. The light is here. And it's you. It's easy to believe that a jackpot means money. That it's some enormous windfall or stroke of financial luck arriving with fanfare and gold dust. And while abundance often includes material support, the kind of jackpot we're speaking about here, dear Leo, is far more layered. It's not loud like coins spilling from a machine, it's quiet, personal, and sacred. It arrives as clarity, as healing, as the moment you no longer feel the need to prove your worth to the world. That is the real prize, freedom from the chase. I once spoke with someone who told me their greatest jackpot came not as a check or a promotion, but in the form of a hug from a parent who had never expressed love. After decades of silence and coldness, that single moment of connection broke something open. It reminded them they were lovable, that they mattered, that they were seen. And in that realization, their life shifted. They stopped searching for validation in others and started creating from wholeness. They didn't win the lottery. They won themselves back. When I draw cards for clients during moments like this, it's often the tower that appears not as destruction, but as liberation. The crumbling of what we thought was stable, to reveal what was always true. The illusion that success only looks like numbers in a bank account falls away. Then comes the star, gentle and luminous, offering hope, renewal, and spiritual anchoring. And finally, the Ace of Pentacles, a seed of new, grounded potential. But this time, it grows from soil that has been cleared of illusion. That's what happens when your definition of abundance evolves. In the astrological language of your season, this is what Leo teaches best: to return to the heart. To create not for applause, but from joy. To give not for attention, but from authenticity. And to receive not because you earned it, but because it is your nature to shine. When the sun is in Leo, it doesn't ask the flowers to bloom, it simply shines, and the blooming happens. Still, many of us carry the belief that we are not yet worthy of the miracle. That we must first become something more polished, more perfect, more proven. But I invite you to pause and ask gently, how many doors have I ignored because I didn't think I was ready to walk through them? How many times has life offered me something beautiful, and I turned away because I believed I didn't deserve it yet? Often, the greatest transformation begins not in action, but in awareness. When you realize the treasure was never outside of you. It was always how you viewed yourself. So instead of waiting for the external jackpot to arrive, take a moment to name the ones that already did. Maybe it was the day you forgave someone who never apologized. Or the time you chose to rest instead of push. Or when you stopped hiding parts of yourself just to be accepted. These are real wins. Sacred wins. The kind that change the way your energy moves through the world. Take a moment now and write them down: 3 ways you've already been touched by abundance, even if it had nothing to do with money. Let that become your mirror. Let it show you the energy you already carry. Because the universe doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to recognition. What we acknowledge, we amplify. And the moment you see that jackpot is a frequency you live in, not a prize you wait for, you stop chasing. You start radiating. And that's when the outer forms follow, as naturally as breath. Not everything that counts can be counted. And sometimes, the greatest miracles look nothing like what we expected, but everything like what we needed. One of the most tender truths I've witnessed over years of guiding souls through seasons of transformation is this: people often stand at the threshold of their greatest blessing, yet hesitate to open the door, not because they don't want what's on the other side, but because they quietly believe they don't deserve it. You've likely felt this too, Leo. That pause. That inner question that whispers, "Who am I to have this?" It's so subtle, it can dress itself as humility. But in truth, it's a form of resistance, one rooted not in wisdom, but in woundedness. What we're invited to look at now is not the blessing itself, but our capacity to receive it. To believe that we are enough is not arrogance. It is clarity. And it is necessary. Because the universe responds not only to our desires, but to our self-perception. You could ask for abundance every day, light candles, write affirmations, but if underneath it all you still carry the weight of unworthiness, your energy sends mixed signals. This is why so many manifestations feel delayed, not because the gift isn't ready, but because we are still doubting our worthiness to hold it. There's a reason we're having this conversation now, on August 6th. In numerology, 6 represents balance, beauty, and the sacred harmony between the inner and outer worlds. It's about healing relationships, especially the one you have with yourself. The number 8, which follows 6, is the number of infinite flow, of karmic return, of divine power manifested in form. When combined, 6 and 8 open a portal where your self-love becomes the foundation for your prosperity. And when you see 777, whether on a clock, a receipt, or here in this space, it is not coincidence. It is confirmation that you are in alignment with divine abundance, and that now is the moment to claim it. But how do we claim something we've been taught to wait for, to earn, to prove ourselves worthy of? The answer is surprisingly simple: we decide. Not in our minds, but in our hearts. We decide to see ourselves as already worthy. Not because of what we've done, but because of who we've become through everything we've survived. I want to invite you now into a gentle practice. One that has changed the lives of many I've worked with. Take a pen and write this down as your affirmation: I am already enough. I am already worthy. I am ready to receive with grace. Let those words settle into your body, like gold threads weaving through every cell. Not to fix you, but to remind you. Because the truth is, there's nothing left to fix. When I reflect on the wisdom passed down through ages, I often remember the image of a lotus blooming in muddy water, not in spite of the mud, but because of it. Your journey, with all its setbacks and pain, has not stained your worth. It has made it shine more clearly. You are not less worthy because of your mistakes. You are more ready because of your humility. And let's not ignore the power of visual language. Color has frequency. On this day, I encourage you to surround yourself with gold, the color of receiving, of royal confidence, of inner radiance made visible. Even just wearing something gold, or lighting a gold-hued candle, can signal your subconscious that you are open, that you are worthy, that it's safe to receive. So let's shift the script. Let's stop waiting for perfection. Let's stop disqualifying ourselves before life has a chance to reward us. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to remember everything. If your heart is whispering, "Yes," I want you to pause and declare it, not just in your journal, but here, in this space. Go to the comments and write, "I am ready. I am worthy. I receive." Let those words be a bridge between your inner truth and your outer reality. Let them ripple out like light from your chest. And truly trust that the moment you stop resisting your own radiance, the universe has no choice but to meet you in it. When you're standing right at the edge of something magnificent, life doesn't always feel lighter. Sometimes, just before the most beautiful unfolding, things get strangely heavy. Emotions rise. Delays appear. Doubts you thought were gone resurface like shadows stretching longer at sunset. And that's not because you're off track, Leo. It's because you're right on time. This moment, this quiet intensity you might be feeling is not random. It's the final checkpoint. The moment just before the blessing fully arrives, when the universe gently asks, "Are you ready to hold what you've asked for?" Energetically, when we're closest to a breakthrough, resistance naturally emerges, not to block us, but to allow us to see how much we've grown. These last-minute tests aren't punishment. They're a mirror. They ask us, will you respond as the old version of you, or from the space of your becoming? And often, it's not the outer circumstances that need to change but the way we meet them. This is a natural rhythm in the law of attraction. The moment you raise your vibration to match your desire, the old energies that no longer align with that desire start to shake loose. You may notice relationships becoming strained, habits losing appeal, or even minor inconveniences suddenly feeling amplified. Don't misinterpret these signals. They aren't setbacks. They are clear signs that a vibrational shift is occurring and your external life is recalibrating to match your internal clarity. Right now, Uranus, planet of the unexpected, is forming active aspects that stir things up, not to destabilize you, but to liberate you. Uranus moves in sudden jolts, often through disruption. But disruption, when met with presence, becomes revelation. So if you've recently faced an unexpected event, or an emotional trigger you thought was long gone, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? What part of me is being refined, not punished? In the same way a seed breaks open before it grows, you too are being stretched, not to the point of breaking, but to make space for something greater to root itself within you. That's why these final tests matter. They're not meant to defeat you, they're meant to confirm that you are, in fact, ready. There are ways to navigate this space with clarity. Begin by cleansing your mind, your energy, your space. A simple salt bath can do wonders to release residual heaviness. Walk barefoot on the earth. Light incense or natural herbs like sage or sandalwood to reset the vibration in your home. Listen to 432 Hz frequency music and let the resonance guide your nervous system back into harmony. These aren't rituals for show. They are anchors. Gentle tools that bring your scattered pieces back into one clear, calm center. And then, go deeper. Ask, who have I not forgiven? What resentment still lingers in the background of my heart? Not because the other person deserves peace, but because you do. Forgiveness isn't letting someone off the hook. It's freeing yourself from the invisible threads that keep you anchored in the past. And those threads, whether we acknowledge them or not, subtly resist the forward flow of abundance. This is the invitation of this moment, to move through discomfort not with force, but with wisdom. To see every friction point not as failure, but as finishing touches. You are not backtracking. You are completing a cycle. And the energy you meet this final stretch with, whether it's grace, clarity, or even just self-compassion, will shape the way your next chapter begins. Sometimes, the blessing doesn't knock. It waits quietly at your door, sensing whether your hands are truly open to receive. And the truth is, you're closer than you think. If you've made it here, to this point in the journey, it's not because you're weak. It's because you're worthy. So breathe through it. Trust the timing. And know, these final tests aren't signs of denial. They're proof that the jackpot is already yours. When you reach this point in your journey, Leo, something begins to shift not just in your outer reality, but deep within your energetic field. You've already walked through the fire. You've stood still during the chaos, chosen growth over comfort, and now something new wants to move through you. But here's what most people miss. The manifestation isn't just coming toward you, it's being magnetized by you. Not because you're lucky, but because your frequency is finally aligned with what you once believed was out of reach. The truth is, abundance is not something we wait for. It's something we emit. And that's the real turning point. To stop chasing the frequency of wealth, success, or love and instead, to become the very vibration of it. I remember working with someone whose energy was scattered in worry. Everything they did was fueled by fear, checking their phone constantly, questioning if they were doing enough, comparing themselves to others. And no matter how hard they worked, nothing moved. I asked them to do one simple thing. For 7 days, replace every anxious thought with one conscious breath and a single phrase of gratitude. Not for anything fancy, just the breath in their lungs, the roof above their head, the light pouring in through the window. By the end of the week, their voice had softened. Their body was lighter. And then, almost effortlessly, the opportunity they'd been hoping for arrived. That's not magic. That's alignment. Energy is a current, and we are always either resisting or flowing with it. When our thoughts spiral into lack, our emotions follow, and we unconsciously begin to close off the very channels that abundance travels through. But when we begin with appreciation, we soften the armor. We create space. And space is where possibility enters. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to attract opportunities effortlessly, it's not always because they have more. Often, it's because they believe they're already enough. In the language of frequency, this is how it works. Thoughts create emotions. Emotions create action. Actions emit frequency. Frequency creates results. You can't fake frequency. The universe doesn't listen to what you say, it listens to what you broadcast. So if you truly want to receive more, don't look outside. Look at what you're radiating from within. The beautiful thing is, you can shift that broadcast in very grounded, accessible ways. Begin your mornings with movement, not to fix your body, but to honor it. Gentle stretching, a short walk, even dancing barefoot in your room can awaken serotonin and reset your internal chemistry. Support your body with foods that soothe your system. Omega-rich sources like walnuts and avocado, grounding roots, clean water, and warm herbal teas that center your nervous system. Speak life into yourself. Just 5 minutes a day of intentional affirmations can restructure your internal dialogue. Try words like, I am a magnet for aligned opportunities. I receive with ease. I create from joy. Let your voice become the soundscape of your own expansion. Remember, Leo, your ruling planet is the sun, not because you need to chase light, but because you are light. And like the sun, your energy doesn't beg to be seen. It simply shines, and everything around it begins to bloom. This moment isn't asking you to wait anymore. It's asking you to realize that what you've been waiting for is already growing inside you. Your frequency is the soil. Your choices are the roots. And your beliefs? They are the sun and rain. So instead of asking, when will it come? Begin asking, what am I willing to become so that I naturally draw it in? This is the shift from hoping to embodying. From wishing to receiving. From striving to flowing. You're no longer here to just visualize abundance. You're here to live as it. There's something quietly powerful that happens when you realize you were never waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. All along, through the uncertainty, the healing, the hope and the heartbreak, the universe wasn't testing your worth, it was preparing your capacity to receive. And now, Leo, you've reached that threshold. You don't need to earn your way into abundance. You don't have to perfect yourself before claiming what's already meant for you. The only thing left is your yes. The kind of yes that doesn't whisper or hesitate. The kind that rises from your soul like sunlight, steady, bold, and undeniable. What if you allowed yourself to believe that this is already happening? That the version of you who has it all, the clarity, the freedom, the love, the wealth is not some future self you're chasing, but a present truth you're choosing to embody, right here and now? What would shift if you finally stopped negotiating with your worth, and started moving like someone who already belongs in every room they enter? Because you do. I've seen lives transform in a single moment of decision. A woman who lost everything found a note she wrote to herself months earlier, hidden in the pages of an old book. You don't have to start over. You only need to start seeing yourself again. And that was enough. She started again not because something external changed, but because she did. That is the quiet miracle, the moment we stop looking outside for what we've carried all along. So now I gently ask you, what if this is that moment for you? What if the next chapter of your life begins not with another goal, but with a surrender? A breath. A sentence. A choice to say, I am ready. I am enough. I receive. I invite you, truly write it in the comments right now. Let this be your activation. Not just a phrase, but a declaration. A bridge between your inner knowing and your outer world. I receive. I am ready. My jackpot is already on the way. And if you felt even a flicker of connection throughout this journey, please consider liking this video, subscribing to Eternal Mindfulness, and sharing it with someone whose heart may need this light. Every act of support, every word you leave behind, helps anchor this message into the collective. You're not just helping this channel, you're helping someone else remember their power, their path, their possibility. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this time here. Your presence is not taken for granted. It is sacred. And I believe deeply that what's coming for you is greater than you've ever allowed yourself to imagine. The jackpot isn't just something you're going to receive. It's something you're becoming. You are the expansion. You are the blessing. You are the light the world is waiting to witness. Now breathe that in. Let it land. And carry it with you, because this is only the beginning.